They say time heals everything, but they never tell you what to do while you're still bleeding. I never imagined I'd be the kind of man to walk into his own home holding another woman's hand. But that night, I did. And when my wife smiled at me, thinking I had brought home a friend, or maybe a mistake she could mock later, I looked her straight in the eye and said, "She's the wife of the man you cheated with." The silence that followed was heavier than any scream. Her smile froze, cracked, and vanished. For years, I had imagined what confrontation would look like. I'd pictured anger, shouting, tears. But this moment was quieter, almost surgical, and I needed it that way, because I wasn't there for revenge. I was there for truth. My name is Daniel. I'm 56 years old, been married for 31 of them. To the outside world, we were the picture of stability. 2 kids, a nice house, long dinners with friends who admired how well we lasted. But inside those walls, love had been running on fumes for years. My wife, Laura, used to be my best friend. She had this laugh that made even the worst days feel bearable. But somewhere between routine and resentment, that laughter stopped being for me. I didn't find out about the affair the usual way. No lipstick on the collar, no secret texts left open, no whispered phone calls. It came through a mistake, one of those cosmic accidents that make you realize fate has a cruel sense of humor. One afternoon, while doing the laundry, I found a note tucked into her coat pocket, handwritten, short, careless. "Last night was incredible. Can't stop thinking about you. Same place next week?" I didn't need to know who wrote it. I already knew. His name was Eric, her boss. I'd met him twice. Shook his hand, helped him move his office printer once. He seemed harmless, polite, even boring. The kind of man you'd never suspect. Maybe that's what made him perfect for her secret. I spent 3 days pretending not to know. 3 nights lying beside her, listening to her breathe, while my mind built a wall around every emotion I couldn't afford to feel. On the 4th day, I called Eric's wife. Her name was Julia. She sounded exhausted but not surprised. Turns out she had known for months. "I was waiting for you to find out," she said. "You seem like the kind of man who wouldn't take it out on the wrong person." We talked for hours. Not about revenge, but about understanding. About what it feels like to be replaced by someone who is supposed to be temporary. She told me she was done crying. She'd already done that part. She wanted closure, not chaos. I told her I wanted the same, and so we planned it. Not as some theatrical act, not out of anger, but because both of us deserved to see the truth land where it belonged. That night, I drove Julia to my house. She sat in the passenger seat, calm, hands folded, her wedding ring still on. I didn't know what to expect when we walked in. I just knew I couldn't live another day, pretending I didn't see the cracks in everything we'd built. When Laura saw us, she smiled, wide, polite, maybe nervous. "Who's this?" she asked, trying to keep her voice casual. I let the silence stretch just long enough for her confidence to flicker. Then I said it. "She's the wife of the man you cheated with." Her expression changed instantly. First disbelief, then fear, then something else I can't quite describe. Maybe shame, maybe rage. But the one thing missing was denial. Because deep down, she knew she'd been caught long before I ever said it. Julia stood quietly beside me, her face unreadable, her poise unshaken. She didn't need to say a word. Her presence alone was enough. A mirror showing Laura everything she'd destroyed, not just in our marriage, but in another woman's life too. Laura's lips trembled. "You don't understand, Daniel," she started. "It wasn't like that. It wasn't serious." I almost laughed. Wasn't serious? The months of late nights, the unexplained absences, the cold shoulders, it was serious enough to hollow out a marriage. "I think he told her the same thing," Julia said quietly, her tone even. "That it wasn't serious, that it didn't mean anything. Funny how little lies grow when they're watered by guilt." Laura turned to me, tears forming but never falling. "You didn't have to humiliate me like this." I shook my head. "This isn't humiliation, Laura. This is honesty, something we lost years ago." She stood there, speechless, eyes darting between us, realizing she was out of excuses. I didn't yell. I didn't demand an apology. I simply walked past her into the kitchen, poured myself a glass of water, and sat down at the table. Julia followed quietly, resting her hands on the back of a chair. "I wanted you to see what you left behind," I said finally, looking at Laura. "Not just me, but the respect, the trust, the life we built. You didn't just break vows. You broke the man who kept them." For the first time in years, the house felt honest. Heavy, yes, but honest. Laura tried to speak, but no words came. She just turned and walked out of the room, her footsteps echoing down the hall. Julia and I sat in silence. Two strangers connected by betrayal. Two people who had every reason to hate, but instead found strange peace in the wreckage. Before she left, Julia looked at me and said, "You'll feel empty for a while, but someday that emptiness will start to feel like space." She was right. It's been 8 months since that night. The divorce papers came and went quietly. Laura moved to another city. Eric lost both his marriage and his job. And me? I started over. I moved into a small apartment near the lake. I take long walks every morning, just to remind myself that peace doesn't come from revenge. It comes from release. Sometimes I still think about Julia. We talk occasionally. Nothing romantic. Just check-ins. Two survivors comparing notes on healing. She's doing better too. If you had told me a year ago that I'd walk into my home with another woman to expose my wife's affair, I would have laughed. But sometimes life forces you to stop being the victim and become the mirror, the one that makes others face what they've done. That night didn't just end my marriage, it ended my silence. And for the first time in decades, I can finally say it. I'm free.